And welcome back, guys. Take two for today's 420 news. So happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody out there, guys. Hopefully, I'm coming through loud and clear this time around. I'm not getting any notifications that my friends are dropping. I don't know what was going on there. A bit of a technical issue that I don't know how I fixed it. It just fixed itself, I think. You know, the old turn it off and turn it back on again kind of worked. So guys, I apologise for that if you are out there watching and I had to cut it off. Apologise. Hopefully we'll be able to get through all of this show without any frames dropping from the broadcast. Let's see what happens anyway. Let's hope for a bit of that old Irish luck today on the day of the Irish. Just packed me up an old bowl here for me vaporizer. Somebody out there, John A is saying it's a lot better. Happy feckin' days, man. Yes. And I got me volcano here beside me. Just going to blow up a bag, I suppose, now for myself. Where are my bags? Sorry, guys. Jumping around the place. And I have loads of rattling here now because I'm blowing up a feckin' bag as well. Again, shout out to Starks and Bickle. Hopefully someday they might make a volcano bag that isn't so fucking noisy. It's a great old invention though. I fucking love this volcano. So apologies guys now for blowing up this bag. I had one blown up there, but I emptied it a few minutes ago. And yeah, I just want to keep it green for Paddy's Day. You know, it is the old tradition every Paddy's Day. I'm not a drinker, so I like to keep it green on Paddy's Day, and I always have for many years now. Who else is out there? I see Shy Son, he says, seems good on YouTube. Nice one. Happy days, guys. I'm glad I was able to sort that one out there for you. Again, apologies if you're hearing a load of noise in the background here. It is just me volcano bag filling up. It's almost there now. Just twist the camera there. You see that big bag there filling up. Mad. That'll do. Nice big bag of vapor. It's not smoke. I was about to say smoke, but it's not smoke. It's actually a bit healthier than smoke. There was no combustion there. A bit healthier. And it's lovely and tasty. And as you can see, a nice thick vapor produced as well. That's my advertising done there now for Volcano. And I'm not getting paid for that advertising either. Volcano guys, step it up there. So guys, let's get into it. So guys, today is it is 420 news. It's Paddy's Day. So I hope you're all doing good out there. I hope you're all keeping it green, guys. And the first bit of news for you today is coming in from another Irish woman. It is Alicia Maher. Alicia Maher, who has been a guest on the show in the past, and I hope to have her on as a guest again in the not too distant future. But she's given us an update on her situation. So she's an Irish citizen who was forced to leave Ireland to access cannabis as a medicine because the access here is just appalling. So Alicia tweeted, put out a post there yesterday on Twitter and Facebook, and she said it has been 20 months since she took opioids for her chronic pain. She was taking 900 tablets a month. She says cannabis has replaced all her prescription medications, and she hasn't had to go to hospital for a single procedure since. That's 18,000 opioids that she wouldn't have had to take in that time. So in under 2 years, that's not even 24 months. That's just 20 months. That's less than 2 years. 18,000 opioid pills that the pharmaceutical companies would have been more than happy to give her, but they're not happy to give her the cannabis, which is shown to be much more effective for Alicia and her pain. But yet they would have, our government here, our politicians here would have been much happier with Alicia had she just stayed on the opioids and not kicked up a fuss about access to cannabis. They would have much preferred if Alicia remained in her very withdrawn state because of the side effects of these drugs, where she was completely lethargic, but just literally she couldn't engage in life. She wasn't able to laugh at jokes. Do you know? Cannabis has given her that back. Cannabis has restored the quality of life for Alicia, and our government are denying that to her. She's now a medical cannabis refugee stuck in another country because of the ignorance of our government here. It's appalling, like, and this is a post or a picture from Alicia's Facebook also, where she shared a photo of what she called her bonsai tree. It was a little cannabis plant But that was just Alicia's cannabis plant that she was growing over on her balcony in Spain. But over in Spain, Alicia is able to grow cannabis for herself. But not only that, but she can go down to a cannabis association, a cannabis club, and purchase some cannabis. She can, like, that cannabis is grown, she gets it in a herbal form, and she's able to consume that. I'm not too sure exactly how she does it. I'd imagine she vaporizes, much like I've been here today on the show. But yeah, like, she's able to benefit amazingly over in another country, but here in Ireland she can't. Here in Ireland, people like over in Spain cannot set up cannabis associations, cannabis clubs, and provide cannabis to the patients, the many of them who out there who need it and benefit from it. It's basically our rights have been taken away from us, and we have to fight for them back, because we see here how amazing the benefits are. Like 18,000 pills this lady didn't have to take. Like that's no small feat. That's an amazing accomplishment, and it wouldn't be possible without access to cannabis. So again, Irish politicians, our government here, really need to step up now, because again, you can go down to Cork Airport, hop in a plane, and it's only 2 hours away, and you can go to another country where you're not treated like a criminal for treating your chronic pain in the way in which Alicia has done. I want to make sure that we do everything in our power to ensure that Alicia is able to return home as quickly as possible and have as effective as access to cannabis here in Ireland as she does in another European country, in Spain. It's ridiculous that she doesn't. We're being discriminated against every opportunity they get. It really is fucking mad. Like, and I just want to show you a video there, guys, of what is a cannabis social club and how does it work. Because this is a video that was put together by the guys over on NCOD. And I know this has been the topic of conversations for many cannabis activists at the moment around setting up and establishing cannabis associations where people under a not-for-profit model, under the model of prohibition. Oh no, I see some frames dropping. Balls. Right, here we go. Hopefully it holds up anyway.
So, how does a cannabis social club work? Everybody has the right to have freedom of association, guaranteed by all modern and democratic legal systems. A social club is an association of members, of adult citizens who organise the cultivation of a limited amount of cannabis to satisfy their personal needs. A closed non-profit circuit between producers and consumers where certain requirements are met concerning health, safety, transparency and accountability. Cannabis social clubs are legally registered associations and open dialogue with authorities. Cannabis social clubs are typically grassroots initiatives started by citizens.
So there you have it, guys. That was a very good video, actually, but very well put together. It was very short as well, but it explains perfectly what a cannabis association is and what it would mean to the people here if we were to set it up. So effectively, like, what we're doing is the citizens are coming together. We would nominate a grower who would grow the cannabis for the members of the club, and it's done as a not-for-profit model, as in there's nobody to make money from it except the people who give their time to it. If you're a grower that grows for the Cannabis Association, you get compensated for the time in which you give to the club, and that cost then is factored into the price of the product. So again, nobody's making a profit in this. Even the grower, like, he's not making a profit, he's making a wage. He's exchanging time for being compensated then in a wage form. So this is a much better model for people. And again, as the video pointed out, we're European citizens. We all have a freedom of association. We just have to step up and take it back. It's been taken away from us, but we need to step up and take it back. And this is what I've been saying to people, this whole civil disobedience thing. This is a part of that civil disobedience thing. We've been waiting and engaging with the government to do something to take care of our community, to protect the consumers of cannabis out there. And they failed us. They're not doing it. They're not stepping up to their obligations to protect the citizens of the state. So it's now up to the citizens of the state to protect themselves. And this is the best way we can do it as cannabis consumers out there. Set up a little cannabis association where if you were to ever be busted, and you have to be prepared for that inevitability that you could end up in court. But it's not just the grower that goes, it is everybody. All of the members will attend to the court and say, yes, we are a part of this cannabis association and this is why we done it. It is our right and we're standing up for that right. I would love to see that play out in Ireland. I would love to see more people step up, because that's how Spain got it. That is how the Spanish got their right to grow cannabis at home privately, is by just taking it back. You know, it was always theirs. It was just the government borrowed it for a while, you know, and it's, you know, it's kind of like that friend who borrows stuff and never gives it back. You know, we just have to go and just take it back now, you know, we're done with asking nicely. So that's just a little update there on Alicia, and you know, I believe that Cannabis Social Club, that Cannabis Association, would be an amazing way in which to help Alicia get back to Ireland a lot sooner than what our government would have her getting back here for. So onwards we go, guys, because our Gardaí were very busy over the weekend, and I'm just catching up on a bit of news that I would have missed because I didn't do a show on Monday, at least the 420 news. I just didn't have time for preparations on it. But in Cork, Gardaí were carrying out raids over the weekend, many of them. And the first one started in the city, where in Blackpool at around 3 p.m. on Saturday, Gardaí seized €15,000 worth of cocaine and over €2,000 in cash. And a man aged in his 20s was arrested at the scene, and he was held at the Mayfield Garda station under Section 2 of the Criminal Justice Act. He was after appearing in court and all there yesterday, but I'm not too aware of the outcome of that court case. But yet, nonetheless, it's just more failed efforts by the Gardaí, because there's so much out there. There's so many drugs. Like, you can just go online right now and order it, and the postman is going to deliver it. Do you know? We see the revenue offices, or no, sorry, we see the post office certain places getting raided all the time. Not raided, going through, I suppose, watched by the revenue. And you know, how much are they able to stop? They can't stop it. Like, it's just wasted time. So in Cork, there was 15,000 worth of cocaine seized and over €2,000 worth in cash. Then down in West Cork, where there was over 12 there, then there was this was at around 5 o'clock on Saturday. Gardaí from the Bantry District Drug Unit, assisted by the West Cork Divisional Drugs Unit and the Castletownbere at a house. During the course of the search, they found 4,000 worth of cocaine, 2,000 worth of cannabis, and 1,000 worth of heroin, and 5,300 in cash. All of the suspected drugs are sent for Forensic Science Ireland, and a man aged in his 20s again was arrested and held at Bandon Garda Station under Section 2 of the Criminal Justice Drugs Trafficking Act. So again, like, more wasted time here, but again, it highlighted failing of prohibition, in that all of these drugs being found in the one premises, where if we didn't have prohibition, we would be much less likely to see something like this, because you don't have heroin, you don't have cocaine there being sold by the same person. But here we have it, like this creator, if you will. He had more raids going on, and damn, I've seen loads of dropped frames there again, guys. Apologies out there if you are getting interrupted. But down in West Cork, there was €7,800 worth of cannabis seized, and this was down in Enniskeane. And the old picture that was just up there, you see it there, is that's from inside the grow house. Again, you know, 3 or 4 cannabis plants inside of there. I'd imagine this is the flowering tent, and they probably had another little tent there with another 4 plants in it. Whether they were all in flowering or in veg, who knows? It doesn't really differentiate it in the article. But again, what a waste of time down there in Cork, or in West Cork, you know. This was in Enniskeane, as I say, where Gardaí, again from Bandon, assisted with the West Cork Divisional Drugs Unit, they executed the Gardaí executed a search warrant at another house in Enniskeane, where they found these plants that you see here now. So again, like, a more wasted time by our Gardaí, more opportunities for the Gardaí to be spreading COVID in the times of pandemic, you know. Like, surely this isn't essential work. Like, why are Gardaí going out there risking their own lives to take away this stuff? It's such a joke. And as I say, I'm only waiting on the day where I have a headline that a Gardaí was shot and killed during one of these raids. Like, I'm only waiting for it, because it's just a roll of the dice every time they carry out one of these raids. They don't know who's behind the door waiting for them. They don't know who owns those drugs, you know. The Gardaí could carry out a raid today, and then in a couple of days' time, you know, the gang boss, whoever it is, you know, finds out who that guard was, who headed the operation, and he gets targeted in his home, because that's happened. That has happened up in, I believe it's in Drogheda, where there was a Gardaí attacked in his home, where somebody's saying they can't see my face. Sorry about that. I see some frames have been dropped there again, guys, so I apologise for that. I really need to sort out the old internet here. I will sort it out very soon. But we will go onwards anyway, guys, because we're jumping on over to County Galway this time. And in County Galway, there was over €100,000 worth of drugs seized again. So again, and more highlighting failings of the war on drugs here, because the Gardaí, you know, they're risking their lives, and in Galway anyway, €40,000 worth of suspected cannabis plants and herb, and one man arrested during the search operation in Ardrahan in County Galway. And this was on Friday, late Friday evening, where the Gardaí carried out the search, and they found over €20,000 worth of cannabis herb with an estimated street value of €20,000. And they also found a couple of plants inside there as well. One second, I think I have some photos of the plants. Yeah, there we go. There's the plants. So a fine bunch of looking plants, in fairness. Martin is a hologram. Who knew it? What's going on out there, guys? I apologise. Your sound on mobile there was a little lag. Again, guys, apologise for all of this. I see your comments coming in, and my sincere apologies. The old internet up here is really kicking my ass at the moment. But again, look, you see here some amazing looking plants and some herb as well. And this was total to be worth €40,000. Our Gardaí, our politicians, they support organised crime by enforcing prohibition, because it basically bumps up the price of their drugs, their cannabis, their cocaine. It wouldn't be worth what it would be if prohibition didn't exist. And again, we go on highlighting more failings of the war on drugs, because the Gardaí again have seized €45,000 worth of drugs in County Kerry. This was all cocaine seized down in County Kerry there at the weekend. Again, what a waste of feckin' time, because you know that these drugs are always going to be able to reach the street. Where there's a demand, there's always going to be a supply. It's crazy to think, like, just in the last 20 minutes there were over almost €200,000 worth of drugs after being seized. Like, and we're not finished yet. We're not finished, because we're getting to the cherry on top of it all now for today. And this was today's seizure. And what you see here on the photo is €2.8 million worth of cocaine that was seized up in County Donegal. And this was a seizure that happened only just today. What a waste of time. Like, look at that cocaine. Like, 2.8 million. It doesn't even look like that much. Like 41 kilos. Like, if I had 2.8 million in cash, I wouldn't be able to stand to be corrected on that, but I reckon €2.8 million in notes would be more than 41 kilos. And I'm talking about 50s now, because you can't really get hundreds in those bigger denominations. But like in €50 notes, like, it would probably weigh more than what the cocaine weighs right now. It's mad, like, and again, it's the value is bumped up, pardon the pun there, because of prohibition. Massive, like, it's crazy. Like even though the Gardaí have taken 41 kilos, 2.8 million worth of cocaine off the streets, guys, I bet you can still get cocaine. I bet you can, because I have an internet right now, and I could go onto my internet and I could order it. And nice on Mustawes there. Mustawes is saying feck prohibition. And as I was saying, like, you know, despite prohibition, I'm able to go on and I can order cocaine right now. I could have it delivered to my door. If I order from a vendor within Ireland, I could probably have it next day delivery, delivered by on post. You know, first class service, like, happy feckin' days. Like, what are, end it already, will you? Stop putting our Gardaí's lives at risk. Stop turning communities against our Gardaí. Like, it's crazy, like, that we continue to do this. Like, how long has this war on drugs been going on? Like, cannabis was made illegal because of the League of Nations back in 1928, when they introduced the Opium Convention. Under the Opium Convention, cannabis was made illegal. In 1934 then, Ireland first made cannabis illegal. 1934. That's almost 100 years ago Ireland made cannabis illegal, okay? We have failed. We have failed. Like, we have not been successful in becoming a thing in Ireland. It wasn't until, I think, 1968 we had our first drug court case. So again, like, you had 1934 when it was actually introduced. You had the Dangerous Drugs Act. And then you had the first offence, which was a Nigerian medical student. He was caught with some Purple Hearts. He killed himself before he went to court. He killed himself. He was a Nigerian student. His parents had worked long and hard, I'd imagine, to raise money to get him over here to study in Trinity College. And he took his life because he got caught with some purple hearts. That was the very first drug case in Ireland. That very first drug case in Ireland highlighted what a failure it was going to be. Because basically, like a man who had purple hearts, like it's basically a prescribed drug. I believe it's one of these D10 kind of things. I'm not too sure what it is, to be honest. But he basically got caught with a drug that it wouldn't have killed him if he took it sensibly, if he didn't abuse it. Do you know, it wouldn't have killed him. But the Gardaí then coming and catching him with it, you know, and the prospects of his future, a criminal conviction for illegal drug possession, that was enough to take them for the man to kill himself, for him to take his life. Therefore, prohibition is more dangerous than the drugs that they're prohibiting. End prohibition now. Stop criminalising people. Stop discriminating against people, you know. Like, again, the war on drugs has discriminated so hard against people. Like, people like Ava. Ava is the daughter of Vera Toomey, who's a medical cannabis patient in Ireland. She's a victim of the war on drugs. She's discriminated against every day in this country that we keep cannabis prohibited. It's mad, like, because the companies that sell the medicine to young kids, like to patients like Ava, they're making an enormous sum of money off of the back of it, and it's mainly because of the prohibition around cannabis. Because if cannabis wasn't prohibited, if we were able to have these cannabis associations, then medicine like Ava's would be far, far cheaper, because they wouldn't have all the bureaucracy, the red tape, and access to it would be much more easier. So again, she's a victim of the war on drugs, like all of the patients out there, like like Alicia, who I talked about. As I said, 1934 is when Ireland first introduced the Dangerous Drugs Act, which criminalised cannabis. Here we are almost 100 years later, and cannabis is everywhere. The law failed. Stop it already. Like, stop the script. Guys, I see loads of comments coming in there, and that is it for the raids today. I don't have any more on raids. I have 2 more bits of news just to get through Witchy. I'm just going to take a quick swig of water, and I'll get through some of your comments then before I get through the final 2 news pieces. Wow. Bit of a lean one. Me too. I hope you're all nice and greened up out there, guys, in more ways than one. Mustawa is saying, yeah, YouTube is perfect again. Fair play, Martin. Happy days. I hope it remained that way. I know I was having some issues there. You were saying I look like holograms and stuff like that. Oops. Nice in there. FAE Scotland. But there will be very, very soon. And I hope there's more than one as well, because guys, keep it small. Don't have it too big. Don't put all your eggs in. If an association is to fork, then, you know, look, we've 20 members here. Look, actually, we're going to put some of the funds there to acquire another premises. We're going to split the grow between the 2 premises and split the association like that way. Like, just think about it that way. Like, and then maybe then when you fork the association where you have 2 different grows, you could start taking more members into that association. You know, when I say fork to grow, as in, like, don't grow all the cannabis into one space for all of your members if you're getting above a certain member threshold, you know. Just don't put all your eggs into one basket, I suppose. Martin O'Dwyer says, can I ask Martin what the story is with Eamon Ryan from the Green Party? Said that Ireland ain't ready for legalisation. Why would he come out with that? And his policy was to start coffee shops. Money, boy, money. He seen an opportunity to get into who do you want? And it was us. It was the cannabis, because when they were having the government talks, the formation talks, that was ruled out. Of legalising cannabis, the Green Party were like, no, we don't care. Yeah, that's gone. That wasn't. We were only using that for votes. Do you know, that's all they were short and saying, because that's effectively what they were doing. They were using it as a populist way in which to get votes, because they knew it was a very, very popular way in which they can get votes in Ireland by be seen to be supporting cannabis. Like, even the coffee shop model. Like, I didn't vote for the Green Party because of that. Because of their coffee shop model, it told me that they weren't doing their research, it weren't doing their homework. Because if you actually went to Amsterdam, if you knew anything about Amsterdam, you would know not to be using that model, because still in Amsterdam, like the coffee shop model, if you will, like they just tolerated where the cannabis just appears magically overnight. Like, that to me stank, like, and it really drove me away from the Green Party at the time and to run my own campaign. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I just think he's a sellout, man. The Green Party are sellout, and they're after putting a nail in their coffin anyway when it comes to the next election, because I hope nobody falls for whatever lies they might tell you next time to get your vote. They're not to be trusted, guys. Vote independent is the way I see it anyway. Vote independent all the way. And if there's not somebody in your area running who represents your views and your values, run yourself. It's easy, guys. It really is that easy. Grows on one, coffee shop, Tom Martin. Ken Green says eventually associations can be part of a collective. If one go down, we all go down. Yeah, you're spot on there, Ken, man. If one go, we all go, man. That's spot on. And that's it. It's power in numbers. They can't lock us all up. Steve Owen says Green Party were saved by that policy. They were. They got so many votes because they were seen to be progressive towards cannabis anyway. Mr. Always can see my face fine. Isn't that great? I hope it's pretty. Ken is saying all good on Facebook. Martin is also saying, Martin Dwyer is saying, when will the bill go forward and what is the Green Party going to do? Vote for it or vote against it? Also with the decriminalisation, will that go for the bill? They're saying it's going to go like Portugal. Yeah, I've kind of gotten wind that the bill, Gino's bill, is very much like Luke Flanagan's bill. To go look at that if you haven't yet looked at it. But yeah, I think the Green Party might vote for Gino's bill. I'm not too sure again. Like they might be whipped into place by Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil. Like who knows? Like again, we won't know until the bill goes forward. And the bill is to go forward apparently in the summertime, June or July. And that's coming from Gino himself. So we've about 2 or 3 more months there to wait before we see that bill go forward and the debates start then within the government. And we'll then see the Green Party kind of show their cards, reveal their position on where they stand in cannabis legalisation in Ireland. Luke Flanagan's bill was setting up something like cannabis associations, and there was also like a commercial aspect to it as well. But it was still a bit bad. You know, they criminalise young people if they get caught with cannabis. That's bad. We don't want to do that. We were only allowed up to an ounce of cannabis. That's bad. We don't want to limit a person's ability to possess cannabis. Why are you doing that unless you're discriminating against them? Because I can have as much alcohol as I want, and you're not going to assume I'm going down the road selling that alcohol. If I go to the off license and I buy 20 litres of vodka, 100 litres of vodka, I'm not going to get criminalised for that if I have 100 litres of vodka going home. There's nothing criminal about that at all. But with cannabis, it's an ounce, it's 2 ounces. Like, why? No limit is what I say. Because otherwise it's just leading to discrimination. What are you trying to say? That I'm now a criminal because I have more than an ounce of cannabis? What? Am I going to sell it illegally? So because I have more than an ounce of cannabis, I must be selling it illegally. So therefore I must be punished. That's wrong. That's discrimination, guys, and we cannot stand or accept that if it is the case. Also around the growing of plants, you know, I don't think there should be a limit there either, guys. Like, why are the government telling us how many plants we can grow? They don't tell us how many tomatoes we can grow. They don't tell us how much alcohol we can brew, do you know? So why do they get to do that with cannabis? I just can't accept that. Darren T asks, can you plead not guilty if the value is over exaggerated? No, I don't know. You can plead not guilty, but you can't plead not guilty for that reason. Like your reason is because the price is over exaggerated. Like the price is really nothing to do with the case. It kind of gives an idea, but you can state your case that you believe it is over exaggerated, but you're not guilty plea. Like I don't think it's to do with that. Like you're guilty or not guilty is to do with whether you were in possession of cannabis. Like the amount isn't really relevant. It's going to be like, we'll deal with that later, but did you have cannabis? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's all we want to know then, you know, because that's what the court is all about. That's the law you were breaking. It's not really the amount. It's if you have any, you're a criminal. Francis is saying, well, Martin, great news again today. Happy Paddy's Day to everyone. Yeah, happy Paddy's Day, everyone. I've probably said it about 10 times now already. Cock Driller says, God, I don't know what's going on with my stream. Apologies, guys. Could people from other countries cook? I don't know what that question is there, man. Oh, come. Could people from other counties come? Yeah, no, I guess. Like, it would be better to keep it local. But I suppose people from other counties could support an association, and their cannabis could one will define their own rules and criteria for their members. If there's one out there that doesn't accept you, then just try to start forming your own. Again, go to NCOD, ENCOD. They have a good blueprint up there for anybody to go and use and to set up their own cannabis association. Any other comments to read out there? They're all a bunch of liars. In the government need to vote for what's right for humans, not for government's pockets. 100%, man. They don't vote for the people out there at all. Like they only vote to line their own pockets. I agree with you there. He hasn't spoken much in it. Just one video. Interesting, yeah. Oh geez, all those comments coming in. Oh shit, I must have been losing connection there. Man, they're baiting in. Right, let's get on with the rest of the news because I'm not too sure where I'm at now with all those comments just after flaking on into me. So let's go on in with the news, guys, because there was a study that was carried out there recently, and this article came out then is around that. Impairment following medical cannabis use subsides within 4 hours. And within this article, I suppose, they're differentiating between recreational and medical cannabis use. They're talking about how studies all along looking at the impairment of drivers were always focused on recreational cannabis use, whereas now medical cannabis use has come under the spotlight. And what they're finding is that the recommendation of 7 hours, which was be made to recreational cannabis users, is now being changed to 4 hours for medical cannabis consumers, because what they're finding is that basically it's not at a level where the authors concluded that impairment of cognitive and motor tasks depends on the dose of THC and the decreasing following consumption, to the point where there was no difference in cognitive performance after 4 hours between those taking THC and those taking a placebo. So until now, guidelines about how cannabis affects cognitive and psychomotor abilities have come from studies focused on recreational use, but there's more studies now coming out which are looking at medical cannabis patients, and these recommendations need to be done based upon the patient, because like what they're saying here in this is that like some of the patients actually have conditions where their condition actually makes them more dangerous to drive for them, you know, because their motor functions are affected. But when they smoke cannabis, their motor functions actually improve, meaning that their ability to drive improves. So there's a lot of issues around this. Again, shout out to Darren White, who was on the podcast recently. He talks about this, where in New Mexico now, where they have medical cannabis available, they're still trying to figure out what's the best way in which to deal with it. And it seems like roadside sobriety tests, you know, whether a person is able to walk a white line, you know, a straight line, do certain simple tests, that's probably going to be the best method at the moment, because like even in that, like, you know, where a person smokes cannabis and improves their motor function abilities to the point where they're actually better able to drive a car, like that person is going to fail any kind of drug test, you know, where it's looking at a level of THC in their system. So I think it's down to the sobriety test, you know, that tests a person's motor skill functions and reaction tests. It's up to the authorities to figure that one out. They have to stop discriminating against people, because it's bollocks. Like, it's not like alcohol where, you know, once a person has a certain amount in them, yeah, they are going to be intoxicated and their motor function skills will most certainly be affected. With cannabis, like it's not the case. Like, it's much more different, and we can't treat it like we do with alcohol. So that is some good news there, that they're changing the way in which they're looking at it, and there are more studies now that are going to examine medical cannabis use and driving. So I look forward to covering those our studies as they come out. So in the final piece of news then for you today, guys, we're going to pop on over to Thailand. Going back to Thailand again. Thailand made the news there because they were holding some kick-ass events there about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now, yet again, they're marked for holding 2 events for World Cannabis Day. And what is World Cannabis Day? It's April 20th. So shout out to Thailand and to the guys that be over there, because they're playing a blinder, really, when it comes to engaging with their cannabis industry. So Thailand is set to host 2 cannabis-related forums next month, as the country seeks to promote the use of cannabis for medicinal purposes to the public. So the government are actively promoting the medicinal qualities of cannabis to the public. Like it's crazy, and not only that, though, they're incorporating into all sorts of products, like everything you can imagine. Like I talked the last day about noodles, CBD noodles. Well, this lady here in the photo, what she is showing you on the silver packaging is dried fish, and the dried fish has been infused with cannabis, CBD mainly. And again, in our other hand, there's a fish sauce, and that too has been infused with a CBD product. Again, an amazing use of the cannabis, and really showing how cannabinoids can be incorporated, cannabinoids from the cannabis plant can be incorporated into everyday products in order to achieve this prophylactic effects of cannabis, which is that it is an amazing preventative. It keeps you healthy. That's cannabis. It keeps you healthy. Like, this is why cannabis has been used for millennia by humans. It actually keeps us healthy, despite what Frank Fian and all of these other naysayers out there want to make you believe, oh, it'll decrease your IQ, and, you know, because if you abuse anything, it's going to do damage to you. You know, but if you use something responsibly, it's going to be incredibly beneficial to you, and cannabis is one of those things. Cannabis is an amazing product that's incredibly beneficial to human health. Maybe not to everybody, at least not the high THC. Like, you know, some people can have sensitivities to it, but again, I'm just talking about the cannabis plant. Like the big ones, the short ones, the fat ones, the skinny ones, like, and everything in between, the high CBD, the low CBD, you know, all of the cannabis plants. Like, it's a prophylactic, and if we use it correctly, it can be amazing. Like, imagine if the governments were successful in eradicating cannabis from the world. What would we have been robbed of? It's crazy to think of it. Like, just think about it. If the war on drugs was successful and we eradicated cannabis globally, what would the world have been robbed of? Like, it would have been, I don't know, like the damage done just wouldn't have been able to be undone. But anyway, over in Thailand, the first major event will be held in Bangkok's Carlton Hotel on April 19th to the 20th to mark World Cannabis Day. The event, which will be free, is expected to draw a large crowd with more than 50 participating vendors showcasing a variety of cannabis-based products, including food and drink. So while we're locked down here, we can't even go 5 kilometers away from our house. Like, over in Thailand, like, that's not too far from China. You know, where the whole virus kind of originated from. Like, they're holding big, large events where there's massive vendors going, like, and they're just maintaining. I think they have to wear their masks and all of this stuff, social distancing or what have you. But like, what the hell? Like, come on, Ireland, like, get us out of this lockdown, like, and undo the prohibition around cannabis, like, and like, I'd love to see the government, like, holding cannabis themed events like the Thai government are. I you know, it'll be a cold day in hell before we see that, I'd say. But Jackie Ong, the president of Cannabis Investment Summit World International, said the event would be a watershed moment for cannabis use and trade both in Thailand and the wider Asian region. So again, like, the Thais they're eyeing up their position in the cannabis industry, and they're looking to get ahead of those around them who still kind of keep prohibition and are fighting a failed war on drugs. Like, here we have it. Like, it's a great like opportunity to create jobs, stimulate the economy, and the Thais are fucking playing a blinder, as I say. Thailand is ready to be a cannabis hub in Asia as the regulations relating to the legislation have been amended. That also comes from Jackie Ong. He added that the event's dates were chosen to coincide with the 420th day since the medical cannabis was legalized in Thailand, and it's a reference to 420, a number often associated with the cannabis counterculture that began in the United States. Shout out to 420. Everyone out there celebrating 420 and the 420 news. Yeah, I think I went through that actually with Martin O'Brien as to the origin of that 420. No, it wasn't Martin O'Brien actually, it was Dana Larson. The Dana Larson podcast, we chatted about the origin of the 420, and yeah, go check that podcast out if you want to have a look at that. But another cannabis related event that will take place then the month after is the 2021 International Medical Cannabis Association Conference. Interesting, we were just talking about cannabis associations, which will be held in Chiang Mai on April 16th to 18th. The event will be attended by medical experts and growers from 22 countries with a burgeoning medical cannabis industry. According to Alexander Lindgren, a medical tourism consultant for TAN Global Travel. He said that the tourism industry will also benefit from the government's decision to promote the use of medical cannabis. Thailand has a reputation for wellness and healthcare tourism. Combining the two together will attract many tourists from all over the globe, including China, Europe, and the United States. An advisor to the Association of Domestic Travel, Komsam I'm not going to try to read that surname. Komsarn agreed with Mr. Lingren, saying that the move to legalise parts of the cannabis plant would allow the future generations to learn and benefit from the crop, which would potentially translate into higher incomes in farming communities. He says, we are on the right track now. We have a cash crop in our hands, so we have to know how to market it. And still though, in Thailand, while cannabis has been legalized for medicinal and therapeutic reasons, the cannabis flowers are still seen to be regarded as, are classified as a narcotic. And authorities there still do engage in raiding like illegal cannabis dealers and what you have, you know. The recreational market still hasn't come out, but what they are promoting is I think it's like up to 1% THC they can grow there. All these kind of hemp strains, if you will. But again, it's still, as I say, they're playing a blinder. Like, that's just one little refocus their Gardaí, their authorities, their Gardaí, their cops, the Thai cops, refocus them on real criminals, because they have some nasty stuff going on over in Thailand. You know, kids being exploited and all of this kind of other stuff. It's a waste of time to have them focusing on cannabis. So as I say, they're playing a blinder. One little chink in their armor though is that it's still regarded in class as a narcotic. So hopefully they might change that in time to come. But one thing to point out there in that piece there is the tourism aspect of it, because within, I think it was in Ming's bill, the tourism was actually ruled out, that it was actively it was actively kind of discouraged that tourists who come into the country wouldn't be able to buy cannabis here, that only citizens of Ireland would be able to buy cannabis in Ireland. That's fucked up. Like, that really is messed up, like, if that is the problem. I see some comments coming through there again, some issues because of the bloody internet, but guys, apologise. I see there's almost 10% of the stream after dropping. Apologise, guys, I really do. I'm going to have to really get the connection here sorted out in a much better way. So the comments, guys, coming in, as I say, they're actually just to finalise on that one. Like, Ireland, if we were to legalise and regulate cannabis, like, we shouldn't cut out the tourists at all. Like, as in, look at Thailand, they're seeing it as an opportunity to stimulate their economy. Like, when we look at Amsterdam, the guys who cause the most problems in Amsterdam are the drunks. Like, when football season kicks off over in Amsterdam, like, you see scenes there, I think it was in 2018, the streets, like, and the English soccer fans, like, and they're all drunk out in the streets, like, and they're causing serious problems. As long as I've been in Amsterdam, and I've been there, I think, nearly 12 times now, I've never seen a person high cause a problem for the cops. Like, it's always been the drunks. So again, like, we have alcohol tourism in Ireland. Like, we pride ourselves, today is Paddy's Day, like, and it'll be, you know, Guinness and like whatever the Irish drinks are, like, you know, that we'll be priding ourselves around them. But yeah, we're going to like discriminate against cannabis, and we're like, no, we can't promote cannabis tourism, that'll be terrible. Did it go in? Fuck off, like, seriously, like, stop, like, drop it. I'm not happy. Like, I can't wait until Jing Ming Gino publishes his bill. I can't wait to see it, and the public to see it, because I hope he doesn't make mistakes like that where kids still get criminalized, where tourism is actively discouraged, where we still discriminate against cannabis consumers by not allowing them to choose how many plants they want to grow, to discuss it with you. As I say, I will someday very soon actually go through Ming's bill in a video, so I can just literally go through it, give my opinions. I might pre-record it or something like that. I might go live with it. Let's see what happens anyway. Hopefully I can improve my internet before then. So let's get on over to your comments there, guys. Western medicine wouldn't exist without prohibition. I think within a few years it will be shut down. Interesting comments coming in there from Steve Fawn. Yeah, certainly cannabis was removed from the herbal pharmacopoeias. A lot of our knowledge around it was deleted because of prohibition. John Q was saying, see the woman protest yesterday for the Scottish Bureau and arrested at the anti-lockdown protest. RT is fake news. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, that there isn't any fuss getting kicked out about the women's protests that are going on. There was one yesterday and there's one tomorrow here in Cork. And there's no fuss really being kicked up in the media. Let's not get into that stuff anyway, because oh man, that's fucking, that really would piss me off if I start talking about the lockdown now again. But John Hughes, but anyway, happy green 420 Paddy's Day. Hey, nice one, John. Hope you're well, bud. He's saying I was over in mushroom huts actually over in Thailand. I've never been to them while I was over there, but I heard about them. But when I was in PP Island, Fifi Island, I'm not too sure, on one of the islands at a Rasta bar, I was like, all right, it's called the Rasta bar. My buddy went over and he asked, he's like, can you get us weed? And he sold us some joints. And then afterwards, it wasn't the borderline tripping, like, because I don't know, it was really dark. We were on an island, the power was just after going out, and there was a thunderstorm coming, so we could see lightning in the distance, in the darkness. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was one of the best experiences that I can remember, really, just sitting down, having a smoke with, it was me and three other buddies sitting on our little porch on the hut that we were staying in on the island, and we were just watching the thunderstorm come towards us. It hadn't started raining or anything. The weather, oh, it was beautiful. Oh, geez, happy memories. I wish I could be back there again. Ah, lovely memories. Onwards we go. Dave Easy saying a lot better on YouTube. See you there. Guys, apologies about the internet and the dropping of frames. Apologies. I see people jumping between Facebook and YouTube. Well, Martin, great news again today. Happy Paddy's Day, everyone. That's coming in from Francis. How's that going to go with the bill? That's coming in from James. As I say, I don't know how it's going to go. Other comments coming in. There was another article suggesting remove the Irish flag and all Irish emeralds to make foreigners feel more inclusive. Unknown Entity is saying, yeah, like there was an article on RT about drowning the shamrock in water, not alcohol this year, and the governor concerned about the level of drinking, but at the same time, fear a hit to the exchequer. Yeah, that's true, man. They do worry about a decrease in drinking will decrease the income and revenue, so they'll have to get it out elsewhere. Maybe the cannabis is the answer. John Q, happy days, man, if you remember that. You ain't allowed to be Irish anymore, coming in from John Q as well. Yeah, there's Martin James the Wire. Right, guys, I'm going to start signing off there in a couple of seconds. So if you want to start getting in any final comments, any final shout-outs, do so there, because I'm down to the end of your comments. So Martin James the Wire is saying a shitload of people would come here. Yeah, definitely. I think Ireland would do well as a place for people to come and enjoy cannabis, because we've got some lovely countryside, especially West Cork. It's the one I'm most familiar with. So yeah, being out in the country with some cannabis, like, what a great way to spend it, So yeah, Ireland would do very, very well. Let us sell cannabis. Let us grow cannabis. Let us actively encourage people to come here and enjoy our cannabis industry like we do with our alcohol industry. We have our Jameson distillery tours. How long until we have got the Martin Condon cannabis farm tours? Or Martin's World Cannabis Farm. I don't know what we might call the cannabis farm if we ever get one. Stony Malone's. Don't be robbing that, guys. Mr. John has walked out of court, a free man, I suppose, and he's to return again on April 13th, so 7 days before. So that's on that's in April anyway, 7 days before 420. He's going to be going into court again to face up for his crime. So yeah, he's still a free man. He went out and he enjoyed a big old foot-long subway for himself yesterday. So I might try to do my best to get up to John actually for his next court case on the 13th, and we might go live from outside of the court and see what happens. Other comments coming in there, guys. Happy Paddy's Day from Georgie Maher. Hopefully the prohibition in Ireland ends soon. It's so sad it hasn't yet. 100%, man. It is really maddening that cannabis prohibition still exists in Ireland, and we're seeing so many other places out there doing so well with legalization, seeing industries take off, seeing businesses start up, seeing people just doing well and creating livelihoods for themselves, and communities doing better because of it. Authorities, police within communities, policing communities more effectively because of legalization. It's maddening to think that our politicians are actively working against bringing that here to Ireland. Shaison says, much respect anyone of any nationality living in Cork, especially those who smoke. Yeah, that's it, guys. Shout out to everybody out there of all nationalities. We are one. We are all one, guys. That's one thing about cannabis as well. It brings get caught up in nationalities and all of that stuff. Unknown Identity says lockdown would be a breeze if the herb was legal. 100%, man. I agree with you. And I think who was it there? Your man, jeez, what's his name? He was on the 420 News last week. The actor Seth Rogen. Yeah, he was the guy who put out a tweet. He was just like, legalize cannabis and let people sit home and Netflix and chill. Because like Netflix is so much better if you have some cannabis to enjoy it with, and obviously, if you have a loved one to sit down and enjoy it with, I think that might change the meaning of Netflix and chill. But like, give me some cannabis and let me Netflix and chill. 100%. Lockdown would be so much fucking better if I could go out my back garden and just start growing some cannabis plants. I would never want to leave my house. Like, the government would have to ask me to leave. So guys, that is it. I don't see any more comments. I'm up to date there now. Martin the Wire getting the last one in there. Actually, we're going to have to make it legal. So when we're out, go on. I think you hit return too soon. So when we're out of lockdown, when we're out of lockdown, maybe. I agree with you, Martin. The sooner the better. Can't come soon enough, to be honest. So guys, until next time, stay blazed out there and keep her lit. Much love. Peace.